Update 35.5 was just released in Melon Playground. And to be honest, the more time passes since this update's release, the more strange secrets players are starting to discover. Some things seem so suspicious, it's as if the developers deliberately hid them and didn't mention them at all in the update notes. And today I've collected for you the strangest myths, facts, and secrets of Update 35.5 that I've personally verified. Some of them actually work, some look like bugs, and some even feel like unfinished secret mechanics. So be sure to watch the video to the end, because the latest experiments really surprised me. Well, here we go. And the first myth has to do with the new bicycle, because one of my subscribers wrote me a very strange theory. He said that if you attach a fender to a bicycle, the vehicle will become much more stable at high speeds. Moreover, it's supposedly even capable of flying a little and barely tipping over. And to be honest, at first, I didn't believe it at all, because it sounded incredibly strange. But then I remembered how crazy the physics of the new bike are, so I decided to check it out. We take a regular bike. Now we attach a fender to it just above the bike itself. After that, we make the fender invisible to make everything look as neat as possible. And now comes the fun part. We gradually increase the bike's power. We put our Melon NPC on it, and then we launch it all. And that's when the strangest thing started. Because the bike actually started behaving completely differently. It stopped flipping so abruptly. The front wheel didn't fly up as much anymore. And most importantly, during jumps, it actually stabilized in the air. And it looked as if the bike actually had some kind of mini aerodynamics. And honestly, for me, this was truly one of the most useful myths of the update. Because before, at high speed, the bike almost always flipped over. But now you can actually use it to create maps, tracks, and even jumps. And most importantly, it's much more comfortable to control. But the next myth was even stranger, because now you can work properly with lava, water, and other liquids in the map editor. And then a really strange idea occurred to me. What if you mix lava, water, and poison in one place, and then put an NPC there? What would happen to him? Because logically, the game should just destroy him in a second. But considering how strange the mechanics were in 35.5, I wouldn't be surprised by anything anymore. So now we're creating a separate map. Mix water, lava, add poison, and throw an NPC in there. And honestly, the result really surprised me. Because the NPC didn't just start burning. It seemed to survive much longer than in regular lava. And it looked incredibly strange. He was simultaneously drowning, burning, taking damage. But he wasn't dying as quickly as he should have. But the poison worked completely separately and literally dissolved the NPC almost instantly. And honestly, it felt like some kind of unfinished mechanic. Or maybe the developers are really working on new fluid interactions. Because it would be really cool if lava and water created something like stone or obsidian, like in Minecraft. And who knows, maybe they'll actually add this in the future. But the next fact turned out to be even more interesting. And it has to do with the new chair. Because I accidentally noticed something very strange. If an NPC dies while still in the chair, then after a while, they automatically fall out of it. And to be honest, at first I thought it was just a bug. But no, it actually works reliably. And it looks very unusual. It's as if the developers deliberately designed this mechanic. But that's not all. Because if you suddenly pull an NPC out of the chair sometimes loses its hitboxes entirely. It feels like the chair doesn't work like a regular object in the game at all, but like part of some mechanism or vehicle. And maybe that's why so many bugs and secrets are popping up with it now. But then there was an experiment that really surprised me, because I accidentally realized that you can almost fully implement shooting from a vehicle on a bicycle. Yes, almost like Ingta. And to be honest, when I noticed this, I couldn't believe it at all. But it actually works. Because if you attach a weapon to an NPC while riding, it continues to function normally. And it looks absolutely insane. First, I tried attaching a regular rifle, then a sniper rifle, and then a minigun. And it really looked like some kind of new game mode. And if we develop this idea further, we could make full-fledged maps with bosses, enemies, and weapon upgrades right on the vehicle. And honestly, for Melon Playground, this would look really cool. But the next experiment really killed me, because I decided to test which was stronger, a regular Jeep or a new bicycle, and with default settings. No cheats, no power-ups, no mods, just a regular experiment. Connect the Jeep and the bicycle with ropes, launch them simultaneously, and see who can pull the other one. And that's where I was truly shocked, because no matter how many times I repeated this experiment, the bicycle always beat me, even with default settings. And honestly, this already looks like some kind of balance bug, because a bicycle shouldn't be any stronger than a Jeep. But for some reason, that's exactly how it works. And maybe the developers really should tweak its physics a bit, because right now, the bicycle looks way too powerful for such a small vehicle. And that concludes our video for today. If you enjoy these myth testing sessions about the new 35.5 updates, myths, secrets, and strange theories, be sure to subscribe to the channel and give it a like. And that just looks incredibly strange, especially for a new item. And by the way, guys, before the video ends, I want to say a really huge thank you for your support, because the channel has been growing really fast lately. Our membership is growing literally every day. And to be honest, I didn't expect my Melon Playground videos to be viewed so actively, especially after we recently reached our first 1,000 subscribers. For some, that might seem like a small number, but for me, it was a truly important goal, because I've been wanting to start developing my Melon Playground channel for a long time. And seeing that you genuinely enjoy my videos, theories, myths, secrets, and experiments really motivates me to keep making videos, especially now that the game has started releasing such huge updates. And to be honest, I think 35.5 is just the beginning, because the developers are clearly preparing even more secrets, strange mechanics, and new features. Especially after the introduction of new vehicles, a huge ocean, mutants, and an updated editor. That's why I'm now trying to release videos much more frequently. As I promised you, I'm now releasing videos twice a day. Plus, I'll be releasing shorts with new secrets, theories, and experiments separately. Because there's just a huge amount of ideas right now, and I really want to make one of the most interesting Melon Playground channels. So, I've got a new goal. I really want to reach 1,000 subscribers by the beginning of summer. And to be honest, for me, that's a real dream right now. Because I understand that if there are even more of us, I'll be able to make videos even more frequently, even bigger, and even more interesting. There will be more crazy experiments, more secrets, more theories, more strange myths and tests. And we might even be the first to discover some hidden gems in new Melon Playground updates. So if you really like my videos, if you're interested in these kinds of experiments, and if you want to support the channel, be sure to subscribe right now. And don't forget to like, because it's your support that pushes the videos forward and helps the channel grow. And I, in turn, will try to delight you with even more content and new interesting videos literally every day.